were you on tour when you got the news that you can't do this anymore? Like, how did you get this news broken to you?
It's a great question. First of all, I do watch news, and I was aware of things going on in China, and I have a dear friend there who's a musician that I knew from New York, who wound up doing business there many, many years ago, like 30 years ago. And he married a Chinese woman who was lovely. They were at our wedding in 2014. And what's interesting about Kenny was he's in Shanghai, so he wasn't affected kind of like that area in Wuhan. But China very much clamped down. It's a very serious society because it's communist rule. And if they say you're going to stay home, you're going to stay home. You know what I mean? So I was reaching out to him, what's going on there? And he's like telling me. And then Lisa and I felt that we were a little ahead of the curve with the severity or thinking that this could happen here, okay? Because a virus doesn't know, like, oh yeah, I don't want to go to, I'm not going to land in New York. No, of course. You know what I mean? This can travel. So all the crazy stuff that he shared with me that I completely was like, you got to be kidding. What do you do when they deliver a box? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? And he was explaining how things were going. And that was way before it became very real in North America and the U.S. So I was aware of that, and we were thinking about it. So the last gig with Grand Funk, and I know you've met the guys, and we've been so tight for 20 years now. This is our 20th year. I remember the conversation. It was Atlantic City, a really, really fun showroom called at the Tropicana Casino, which is a pretty decent one for Atlantic City, actually. And, we had another sold out show, but our entire conversation in the dressing room was about viruses and what could happen and what would happen and who knows. And I know at a gig, none of us want to get into a really negative type of thoughts. I know Max, the singer, he doesn't want to hear anything negative. He's got to go out there and entertain, and he's right. So we kept it kind of, positive. That week, I came home on Sunday from Atlantic City. Tuesday, Lisa and I went to Burbank, California, and flew there. I was nervous about flying that day too. I was wiping down everything on the flights to Atlantic City back home, because I knew, again, more from my friend China and less about like how serious, even though the dialogue was happening about this virus. And I had to go to ESP Guitars, and I love those guys. They had the 24 guitars I ordered, the Multi-Swirl, which is a throwback to my Asylum era guitar. Very unique. I sell them on my, social media kind of thing through my contacts. And we had to get, ESP was going to ship them for me. So the packages were put together. Guitars were signed as such. Everyone at ESP, now that by Tuesday, the chatter was there already, that this could get weird. That right after I left there, I had an interview with A&E, a documentary that's supposed to come out later this year in 2020 for KISS. Okay, which I was really happy I was able to squeeze into that quick LA trip, because I flew back that night. Still a little concerned, barely 30 people on the flight because it was a night flight from Burbank. Next morning, Tom Hanks is the face of COVID-19, right? And that night, NBA, okay, no people in the crowd, and then they just postponed the whole thing, right? And as you know, by then it was impossible to find toilet paper.
What was with the toilet paper thing?
Yeah. And the rest of this, what I like to refer to, just to be a comical comment on the situation, the shit show started. Okay. What I mean? Because it totally is a shit show. I mean, there's no way to you can't really put honey on it, or you can find the silver lining. And unfortunately, look, I like to say this to a lot of my people, and I'll share it with you. First of all, do I fear the virus? Yeah, I mean, I'm 66. I've had some health issues in my life, which is not uncommon. And do I want to get this thing? No. Okay. Do I fear it? To a degree. And I do, as much as I listen to the news, so which means I get some of the political stuff, which hits me to the point where my head explodes. I have some really dear doctor friends who are on the front lines. I have some chemist friends who and actually through my wife's son, who's married to a wonderful girl who's very bright. Her mom's an infectious disease person. You know what I mean? There's people, scientists that I'm telling you, that I can talk to. And I know a few Kiss fans of mine who are chemists and things like that. So they are not politically, kind of opinionated. They're talking science about this virus. Okay. So I've always felt like I've been pretty well informed, and maybe more than your average person that may not have access to that. And I don't have any secrets to tell anybody. Everyone should take care, in my opinion. Honestly, I've been working very, very hard to really imagine something like this in my lifetime. I never did. And it's been at first a lot of emotional stress, and then acceptance, and then trying to figure out, well, how do I make the most of this, and at the same time hopefully flourish, or at least lessen the pain of not having the income that a musician like myself gets from traveling and working and performing live. But it's really driven me to work very hard. I try to focus by keeping busy, trying again to take advantage of a lot of the things that would be something that I can do at home, as opposed to bookending my life with travel gigs and events. So it's been a new world of arranging all that. But I am healthy, and so is my wife, Lisa, and I've put her to work quite a bit because she sings great, you know what I mean? And obviously she's busy with her other stuff too. But it's been, a positive thing. I have a home that I love to be in, and I'm always sad to leave it when I travel. So I can't leave it. You know what I mean? I even just to go out for, I call it hunting and gathering, which is really going out for the groceries or picking up the business mail or dropping off mail. Being home with Lisa is one of the silver linings. And so is having that time to really, play with all my guitars and figure out, well, if I'm going to do this, what would be the best guitar for this? Oh, I haven't changed strings on this one in maybe 20 years. I swear I was changing guitar strings on Kiss touring guitars. So, the last time I might have used it could be a very, very long time ago. Okay. We're talking about 95. All right. So, that's really been interesting. But it's been a whole process of adapting, I call it the new normal, which is weird. I know this morning we got up early to go get some groceries, and it was very successful, fortunately, but the routine that we go through, bringing the groceries in and being careful with it all, and then disinfecting things and putting things away properly, that the first maybe 5 times, just things that are so easy, become so cumbersome. And then disinfecting the car and cleaning the handles and the steering wheel. I mean, we wore gloves and a mask, but you get what I mean. But today, it's become the new norm. And it's kind of crazy to think that this enemy is wow. You know what I mean? It's smaller than a grain of, sand. And a lot of the information I think that was shared originally was probably valid until they watched everything actually happen that they weren't sure that happened, meaning young people like yourself could be affected to the point where you get a stroke or you have a limb removed. It's not just over 60 years old that you're in danger, although of course any viral thing and anything that's a lung issue would be really bad for seniors. We all know that. And then the economic distress that this has caused, how many people. There will be every week. I think those unemployment numbers are going to climb to a very historic. But then again, in our lifetime, outside of terrorist attack in 2001, there's been nothing like this in my lifetime. Yeah, my parents went through World War II, and my grandparents had World War I and running from Europe. I know your history. You probably have relatives you ran from over there to start a new life in North America. But this is great. And the fact that it's worldwide, this enemy is bizarre,
If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe for more. Everything on this channel is completely original. I'm the one doing all the videos and all the editing. So if you guys like what you see and you want to support me, the best way to do so is honestly just to subscribe. Thanks for watching.